House Oversight Committee will meet privately with victims of Jeffrey Epstein. After returning from a recess, that did little to quiet the questions surrounding the case. The roundtable discussion is behind closed doors to protect the identities of abuse survivors who wish to remain anonymous, a source tells MSNBC. Victims' family members and attorneys are also expected in the room as pressure builds for the Justice Department to release all files related to the case. Joining us now, a member of the House Oversight Committee, Virginia Democrat Subramaniam. Congressman, it's good to have you here, and I know it's behind closed doors for a reason, but tell us what you can about this roundtable and what you're hoping to get out of it.
I think in the end, the victims deserve a voice in this process. I mean, they were suffered horrific consequences of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's crimes. And they deserve to let us know how they feel about this whole process. I know what they've said so far is that they want the files released as well. They want us to continue to hold the president accountable. And, you know, this whole process, it's been oversight Democrats who have actually been pushing these investigations. We're the ones that forced a vote. We're the ones that actually wanted real accountability from the president. And so that's why we wanted to meet with the victims, because in the end, this was about what they suffered and how the president is not releasing the files related to this as he promised the American people.
Congressman, can you tell us how many victims you'll be meeting with today? And do you have an expectation that you might learn some things that haven't been out there so far?
Well, at least a few victims will be there along with their families. I'll say this, that, we're going to ask them questions not only about, how they suffered and what they want to share with us and what they want us to be doing throughout this process. But we also want to know, whether they knew about the president's involvement with Maxwell and Epstein as well. And, what they think we should expect if we are to question someone like Maxwell, since they were victims of Maxwell's. And so I think this will be a very informative discussion, I think. And, throughout this whole process, we've been talking about the victims, but I know I wanted to meet with the victims personally to hear what they have to say, because in the end, they're the ones that suffered the most throughout this whole process.
My understanding is that tomorrow, Congressman Khanna and Massey are expected to hold a press conference with 10 of Epstein's victims, and Congressman Khanna has said it will be explosive. Do you and your colleagues already know more than has been publicly released?
What we have is we're in the dark just as much as the American people. I'd like to get more information. I'd like to do more fact-finding. The reality is the president promised to release lists and the files, and what he released over recess, 97% of it was already public. And so oversight Democrats are asking for real files. We're asking for real truth, real accountability of this president and this administration, because they're simply skirting their responsibility and their promises to the American people right now. And so we deserve better, and the victims certainly deserve better as well.
Well, Congressman Massey says today at 2:15, an hour and 15 minutes from now, he's going to start the process to attempt to force a vote on releasing the Epstein files. Do you think you'll get a vote? Can it get 218 signatures?
I'm optimistic. I mean, certainly if every single member of Congress who said they cared about releasing the files voted to discharge and make that vote, we would have the votes. But this is a good test of whether Republicans actually care about the Epstein files, or whether they're just talking, or whether they're just supporting the president no matter what. Certainly I'd like to see a vote, and I'm optimistic that there will be a vote.
It's been a month since Congress adjourned, and that did little to calm the attention surrounding the Epstein case. But do you have any concern, Congressman, with all the other stuff that's going on, including trying to get a budget together, make sure the government doesn't shut down, that Epstein is not where your constituents want your focus to be?
I think my constituents want to hold the president accountable to all his promises and all his lies. And so this is a big one for constituents who are Democrats and Republicans. We're certainly focused as well on the budget, on the use of the National Guard in Washington, D.C., on the firing of federal workers. I mean, that's work that's going to continue, but we can walk and chew gum at the same time. And, while the president and his administration are sending their personal lawyers to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell, we're meeting with the victims. And we're standing up for the victims, and we're giving the American people a voice in this process.
Congressman Subramaniam, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking